Good evening, Clinton Fearon.
Good evening, Catherine.
Can you explain us how you discover music
uh,
from the beginning?
yeah, like I say, it's a very long story. I just know that I grew up and from a tender age, every sound of music I just love and I would pay attention to. My dad and my stepmom, they used to sing in the house at nights before bedtime, and I would sing along with them because I loved it. And then I used to go to church with my dad. And I used to love the singing. There was a woman named Mrs. Cole. She used to play the organ, and operates a choir. And there was also 7 sisters that used to sing. Sometimes they sing all 7 of them, sometimes 5, sometimes 3, sometimes 2. Most beautiful voices. I was mesmerized by the sweet tones of the voices. And I used to see there was this man named Elliot Beanie, and he used to pass by my house playing his guitar and singing, going to the bar. And I would walk with him part way just to hear him sing and play. I used to make like little bamboo flutes for myself as a kid, like at the age of say about 7, 8. And I used to use like pumpkin leaves, cut the other leaves off, slit the side close up there, cut 4 holes in it, and blow it like a horn, And then because I love sing voices and the harmony, I'd put another one beside it, trying to get creative. Put another one, put 2 together, and then I would cut one, shorter than the other, so I would get like the third, harmony-wise. And when I get that, then I tie both of them together and cut 4 holes across on both of them, so I have the harmonies. I made me a guitar. This was like the age of about 10, 11. I made me a guitar out of a cedar trunk. Like I say, it's a long story. But in terms of harmony, my dad used to live in the far woods, and have another piece of property some elsewhere. And he used to go to that property and stay sometimes for a week, sometimes a week and a half. This particular time he left me with a lady, and we didn't get on very well. So I went back in the woods all by myself, and I got lonely, start to something, start to sing something, and I was crying, and all of a sudden there was a split in the tone of my voice, and every sound that I made, there was this harmony to it. It was so beautiful. I always try to explain it like watching a bicycle going down the street and the spokes are spinning anti-clockwise, and I run off to go tell my friend about this, and part way I tested it and it was gone. It wouldn't happen again. But I went anyway, told my friend about it. I tried it, it didn't work. But the sound and how it felt stuck with me. So that was a huge eye-opener in terms of voices and harmony and things like that. Then I got, joining with the choir, sung with the choir for a while at church. Then I moved to Kingston, put together a little group we call the Brothers. went on for a little while. And then I got introduced to Gladiators by Errol Grandison, who was a member of the Gladiators at that time. And it was just both of them, Albert Griffiths and Errol Grandison. Weber was out of it. And so it was two of them, and they were searching for somebody. And I got introduced to it, and the rest of it is history. It's a long story.
You spent 18 years with them.
18 years, 18 years.
Songs during that time.
Uh,
You write.
did I wrote? And each album, I said we did something like 13 or 14 albums with the Gladiators before I left. And Trenchtown Mix Up, I can't remember if there is one on it. And Proverbial Reggae, I think there is 3 on it. And I don't remember, maybe a dozen or so songs, and overall, or about 16, something like that. It's not so much. But and the other side of the fence, I always have a ton of songs, in the background waiting to get out there. And luckily, I get the chance to be doing some of that now, in which I'm very grateful for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically, you are well known as a bass player because you not only played with Gladiators in Jamaica, but also with
Yeah, with
well-known producer as Studio One or
Studio One, Lee Perry, Yabiu, what's his name? Glenn Darby. Glenn Darby did a bunch of recording for different artists like Delroy Wilson and many more. Several. Yeah, as bass player. And now and then I'll do some backup harmony here and there for a few artists too as well.
This is your Jamaican story, but now
Yeah.
you have an American one.
Yeah, that's true.
You
I do.
in
We toured the U.S. as the Gladiators in 1987. In 1987, and we had excess time on our visas, and we check. There's a producer in Seattle by the name of Morgan, and we called him from Miami and say, hey, the tour is finished now, and we have XX time on our visa, and we could do with some more money as well. So what about staying over and do something? He said, well, you think it would be a good idea, hey, to come on up. So we put something together, call it the Defenders. And we were there like for about between 7 to 8 months, something like that, pretty close to 9 months. We spent there, and we built a lovely following in the Seattle area and the surrounding. And then went back to Jamaica, and we got this bright idea that we could spend some time in the U.S. and spend some time in Jamaica, and you know what I mean, and went back to Jamaica, came back. The drummer died. It was Winston Carty. He died, and we, after a while, we went back. That was Clinton Rufus and myself. We went back, and Alric Forbes. We went back and we put the band together again. That's Defenders. We put that together again, and Rufus was at one point. Rufus went back to Jamaica to come back. And when he come, then I would go, because we didn't want the band to quit playing. So we take turns. On his way back, and Rufus's way back, immigration, check his passport and say, hey, you seem you're spending more time in the United States than you're spending in Jamaica. So they crossed his passport and sent him back to Jamaica and said for him to apply within 2 years by mail. So I figure, well, if they did that to him, quite possible they'll do that to me too as well. And I would like the freedom to go and come. So I stayed back in the U.S. and said, well, then I'm gonna work on my proper papers so I can go to and from. And I figured it would take me like, say, a couple of years. It took me like 5 years. So by then, I established a career there. I put myself together a band, and actually Defenders went on like for about 5 years. That's what, went on for about 5 years. Then, like I say, by then I'm living there, I'm establishing. So,
Another group.
so after Defenders broke up, I created Boogie Brown. And Boogie Brown been going now like for 12 years actually, and in that period of 12 years we did four CDs, including plus a compilation. The compilation, which is Soon Come, which is on the Sankofa Black Star label. And so we are feeling very fortunate and very good. And, it's been a struggle, but it's been going uphill. And and before we get any further, I also want to thank all the people who stood beside us and been helping us climbing the hill, including yourself, Catherine, and Kareem, the whole Sankofa crew. Ernest, everybody, everybody. I can't remember all the names. But it's just much respect, and I'm honored. Yeah.
It's the second time you come in France.
As Clinton Fearon for the first, and then with Boogie Brown, yeah.
Yeah. So we begin to create a new career.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Europe,
yeah,
in France.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have some specific feelings with France? Why France instead of?
I tell you what, from the very first time touring with Gladiators, I remember touring with Gladiators, and we stopped in Guadeloupe. In Guadeloupe, we spent like a week or a week and a half or something like that down there. Did a few gigs, and then we came to France, and it's like, wow, the vibe. There was a vibration, and the vibration is still here. Warm people, the feeling, the atmosphere, everything is wonderful. I fell in love with France from way back then, and I still do. I think France have some of the most beautiful landscape, most wonderful people, and I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, just a question of feeling. You got.
For this tour, you are presenting a brand new album, Give and Take. That begins to be well known in the US and just the beginning here in France. What is the message of Give and Take?
Give and take is basically when I observe the situation that's going on in the world today. There's so many wars and AIDS and rumors of wars and people fighting for power and forget the love of humanity. It hits me really deep. And so I it's been coming up, but when East and West start to fight on a wide scale and more people is dying instead of things crashing, more people is dying, then I start to think, well, this is really getting out of hand. How can we have a solution? How can we turn the table? So I think personally, I think that if we can learn to forgive one another, be comfortable with our own selves, and I'm not talking about just people, but all people, including the politicians and the ruler and the leaders of the world, hey, remember, that this leader and this leader might have a fight of their own, their power fight and things like that. But they also have to remember that, hey, they have their fight, but they are the people, you know what I mean? And to set the people at war against themselves and things like that, I don't think it's fair to the people. So, I'm basically beckoning and asking the leaders of the world to exercise a little love for the rest of us who do not want to be in fight every day. And forgive their friend and let their friend forgive them and let a little balance happen in the world. A message of peace, because we need that. We need that. It might sound cliche. You know what I mean? Because I know that sometimes a time for war, time for peace, time to laugh, some to cry, time to sleep, and you know what I mean, time to wake up and things like that. But the war been going on for too long, I think. And if we don't careful, we're just gonna kill our own soul and huge mass destruction. Too much already going on. So we ask that we can just give and take and forgive one another and live like brothers and sisters.
It's a beautiful message.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.